As Wisconsin National Guard troops head to Arizona to help secure the border, federal lawmakers are talking about the policy separating thousands of children from their parents there.
And we will tell you why you could be paying more to not only drive but park in Madison. We'll take a look at that fee on top of a new wheel tax and the increased parking fees.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Tuesday, June 19th. Considerably cooler out there.
Nice night to our morning to sleep in.
Yeah, that would have been nice, huh?
Would have been.
Isn't every morning a great morning to sleep in?
That,
but
yeah.
in particular this, because it's cooler weather, it's the nice sound of rain.
I think you can give the AC a break today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been working overtime the last several days here across southern Wisconsin, but it is noticeably cooler outside, but still wet. Maybe you were woken up in the middle of the night with some lightning and thunder that we had moving across southern Wisconsin and very heavy rain at times. We'll talk about rain totals coming up in just a minute, but let's look at the radar map this morning. Scattered showers continue. Not seeing any lightning strikes on the map this morning, which is good news, but scattered brief heavy downpours will continue through the day today. Temperatures are much more comfortable though. 63 here in Madison, 64 in Mineral Point, 61 in the Dells. Dew points are lower as well. Our day planner looks a little ominous though, with chances for rain through the day, even into this evening.
How about that 10 a.m. forecast right there though?
Let's focus on that though. We will have periods of dry weather, but keep the umbrella close by today. Highs only around 70. That is cooler than the low yesterday. We only got to 79 for the low yesterday. So it does feel much more comfortable outside today. Here's a look at our first alert traffic. No major delays on the Beltline or in the downtown areas. If you are headed into Madison, no accidents reported right now. So you're still traveling at posted speeds heading into the capital city.
That's what we like to see, especially on a morning like this where you don't know if there's localized flooding in certain places and all that.
Never drive on a flooded roadway. You just don't know.
Always the reminder. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
We start the news this hour on Capitol Hill, where the president's going to be meeting with House Republicans to talk about immigration legislation. Members of his administration, meanwhile, continue to strongly defend its zero-tolerance policy that, in essence, separates children from their parents at the border if they're all trying to get into the country illegally. More than 2,300 kids have been separated from their parents over the last few months under this policy. Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz plans to introduce a bill today to stop the separations. Democratic California Senator Dianne Feinstein already has one. The president, meanwhile, wants more comprehensive immigration reform, including money to build a security wall at the border. CBS This Morning shares the latest on this issue. Gail King is at the border in Texas right after 7 o'clock. Roughly 24 Wisconsin National Guard troops are going to Arizona to help secure the country's border. They're going after Arizona's governor asked for help. There are volunteers from around the state heading to help. More could be assigned there as well throughout the summer. The last time Wisconsin Guard members worked on border security was in 2006, when former President George W. Bush called troops to the border for a 2-year mission.
Wisconsin Representative Mark Pocan says sending Wisconsin troops to the border would be a, quote, misuse of state and federal resources. Representative Pocan has been tweeting from Texas, where he visited the Border Patrol Processing Center and a children's shelter and detention center facility, I should say. He's been openly critical of the administration's immigration policies, and now he says that sending additional National Guard troops will not help end the humanitarian crisis there. He is calling on Governor Walker to not send those troops to the border. Your time right now is almost 6:04, and the Supreme Court will not order Wisconsin lawmakers to redraw their legislative district maps before this fall's election. In a unanimous decision, the justices essentially sidestepped a Wisconsin case that was related to partisan gerrymandering without really ruling on any of the underlying issues. The case is called Whitford versus Gill. It dates back to 2011, when UW-Madison law professor William Whitford argued that the legislative district map that was drawn by the Republican majority at the Capitol actually gave that party an unconstitutional and unfair advantage. Governor Walker says the Supreme Court decision allows state lawmakers now to move forward on other important issues, while Democrats argue it's not a decision after all, but instead an opportunity once again for the lower federal courts
to gather more information before they actually rule on the case's merits.
In Rock County Court today, the Beloit couple accused of starving and neglecting 8 children is scheduled for a preliminary hearing. 40-year-old Heather McCoy and 39-year-old Lakedrick McCoy both face a felony charge and 5 misdemeanors of child abuse. Now, authorities say all of their 8 kids were underfed and living in filthy conditions. Child Protective Services allegedly found animal waste, bugs, and garbage throughout the home. Officials say Heather McCoy had been reported to Child Protective Services 40 times in the past 20 years and had 6 other children taken away back in 2010. Now, the prosecution will present more of its evidence against this couple this morning. We'll update that over on channel3000.com. 6:05 right now. A new vehicle registration fee is expected to be introduced at tonight's Common Council meeting here in Madison.
This would be on top of the recently approved $28 county wheel tax that's set to go into effect this fall. Josh Spreiter is live at the City County building with why the mayor wants alders to talk about this. Good morning, Josh.
The mayor is expected to propose this unveiling this evening, but he tells News 3 he doesn't even know if he supports it quite yet. The mayor is considering a $17 per vehicle registration tax in Madison. It would cover transportation costs and free up general fund dollars to cover an expected budget shortfall next year. The money would have to be used to pay for city roads and not go into the generic budget, but he says it's a regressive tax, something he's never supported in his 50-year career.
I'm still thinking about it. I'm not committed to it 100%, that's for sure. I mean, I've always opposed this kind of idea. And there are council members who do want to consider it. And again, if we didn't start this process, then we definitely couldn't do it. So this leaves the door open.
This fee of $17 would still be less than what those in Milwaukee County pay at $20 per vehicle per year. At this point, it doesn't look like action will be taken this month, but coming up in our next half hour, I'm going to break down those numbers just a little bit more, showing you exactly what you could be paying if this were to go through. Guys?
$2 million more in gas fees, gas costs for the city of Madison. Also, they're going to help with potentially pay for that. Josh Spreiter reporting live from City Hall this morning. Thank you.
So Madison's Common Council is also set to approve paying for an attorney to represent the city in a lawsuit. That suit was filed by the developer building part of Judge Doyle Square downtown. Chicago-based Beitler Real Estate says it's been excluded from the decision-making process, claiming the city didn't consult them before approving an additional $11 million investment to ensure that parking and retail space was finished on schedule. Alders will vote tonight on whether to spend $50,000 on hiring an outside lawyer for this lawsuit. That money would come from the existing Judge Doyle Square budget.
Dane County leaders are asking for your thoughts on redeveloping the Alliant Energy Center in the 164 acres in that area. A Chicago-based firm is working to redesign that space, possibly build a hotel, a restaurant there, in addition to hiking and biking paths. Now, County Board Chair Sharon Corrigan, who also oversees the oversight committee for that master plan, says tonight's meeting really is an opportunity for people who live in that area to share their ideas and provide feedback about the current plan for the campus. That meeting runs tonight from 5 to 7 at the exhibition hall at the Alliant Energy Center.
A lot of people driving by that stretch every single day, so definitely important. All right, 6:08 your time right now. Throughout the month of June, Alzheimer's advocates have been raising awareness about how quickly this is growing here in Wisconsin. And coming up, we will talk about how we can all help, and specifically about some events this week designed to show the real impact of the neurological disease.
There's a lot of rain in the forecast today. Hattie says it'll be on and off all day today, but at least it's going to be cooler, like 15 degrees cooler. She's talking about temperatures right around 70 when News 3 this morning returns.
Good morning from the patio under the umbrella once again. We have some light rain coming down here on the west side of town. Keep that umbrella close by because scattered showers are in the forecast today. Let's take a look though at high temperatures yesterday. Boy, what an uncomfortable day yesterday with high humidity levels, high temperatures near 90 in many spots. Today will feel noticeably cooler. Our dew point trended very high during the afternoon and early evening time frame yesterday, but then once a cold front moved through the area, those dew points fell back, and now this morning we're looking at dew points near 60 degrees. But all of that moisture in the atmosphere led to some very heavy rain at times overnight, and our 24-hour precipitation estimate for the area shows many spots in the 1 to 1.5 inch range as far as rain totals are concerned, but north of Madison, northern parts of Columbia County towards the Dells, 2.5 inches of rain there, and then higher amounts along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. But this morning, scattered showers, mainly the name of the game. We're not seeing any lightning strikes on the map right now, so that is good news. Zooming the map out a little bit, you'll definitely notice that the scattered shower activity and even some thunderstorm activity lines back all the way through Iowa into the Central Plains this morning. Our severe weather outlook, though, has shifted to the south. That marginal risk for severe weather is now south of the state line. The view this morning, though, pretty gray and dreary. We have rain coming down right now here in Madison. It's 63 degrees, 64 in Mineral Point, and 65 in Platteville. Temperatures this time yesterday were in the 80s. Now our dew points are down in the low to mid 60s as well, which is a big improvement over yesterday. But unfortunately, we keep that rain chance in the area through the day today. Some scattered showers possible through the morning, even into the afternoon hours. Should become a little bit more widely scattered though this evening, but still cannot rule out a few showers even into early Wednesday. Our chances for rain really start to wind down by midday on Wednesday. Rain totals, again, over the next day to day and a half, again, another quarter to possible half an inch for our viewing area. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We dry out on Wednesday and stay dry through most of the day on Thursday. We'll be able to string a couple of dry days in a row. Temperatures in the mid 70s. Rain chances, though, return Thursday night into Friday. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, starting off the commute moving well in the Beltline. No problem showing up heading east or westbound at this point. Of course, I would expect it to continue to pick up over the next few hours. Checking out Dane County, there are a few brake lights up and down Verona Road between Highway PD and the Beltline, along with inbound East Washington heading toward the Capitol. No problems at all downtown around the Capitol Square and UW campus. I would expect some delays there, at least for the next half hour or so. And other main routes, including on the interstate, are cruising along at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh, thank you. Hattie, thank you so much. 6:14 right now, and it's something that kills more people than breast cancer and colon cancer combined, but it can be easy to miss the early signs of Alzheimer's.
June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, and there are many events that are being held this week to raise that awareness. Here to share the importance of Alzheimer's awareness are Carrie Patterson and Kate Majewski from the Alzheimer's Association. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So before we get into the specific events, I shared this story at the Walk to End Alzheimer's last fall about how one of my earliest memories growing up when I was like 40 some odd years ago was of a relative who did not remember my sisters and I. And at that point, probably it wasn't diagnosed necessarily as Alzheimer's, but we are seeing more and more people now to the point, Carrie, and I'll ask you, I mean, is there anybody out there who doesn't know someone now suffering from this?
I think so many people are seeing the early signs in their family members and are starting to have a really strong connection to this disease. And the numbers are growing by huge amounts just in Wisconsin and all over the country. So there's over 110,000 people in just Wisconsin living with Alzheimer's or other dementia. So it's growing quite rapidly.
You were saying it's 20% a year as the baby boomers.
Yes. Yeah, the baby boomers are most at risk for this disease just due to aging, and that's one of the biggest risk factors for this disease is living longer and living through other conditions.
Kate, as all of us kind of see the effects of this terrible, terrible disease, how do you guys provide hope? Because right now there is no cure, and it can seem really hopeless.
We provide a place to go where you can sit down and have a care consultation and find out about local area resources. So we provide a point of contact for families, for caregivers who are just entering their process or have just begun to struggle, and we connect them with information and other people that will support them.
So the longest day, you're both wearing purple is the color of the Alzheimer's Association, but the longest day is a specific kind of, it's broadened out into a week. Describe for us kind of what's going on this week that people can help out with.
Sure. Across Dane County, we have many different events, several here in Madison. Tomorrow, add to the Barcode in Madison. There are several fitness classes. The Barcode is one of our national sponsors of this event, so they'll be raising funds and awareness for the cause at their studio in downtown Madison. We also have a Bridge Club event in Sun Prairie, beginning bridge lessons. Arthur Murray Dance Studio here in Madison is also offering group lessons and then a dance party. They too are one of our national sponsors of the event.
And so, Carrie, obviously you're reaching out to a wide array of folks with a lot of different events. So what do you hope they walk away with, whether they've seen the effects of this disease directly or not?
Sure. I mean, at one of our events earlier this month at a barbecue cook-off at Short Stack downtown, a gentleman connected and shared a story about how he had a family member living with young onset, and he would have never have known that the Alzheimer's Association was here to connect him to some of our free resources, or even potentially get involved with research studies. And so it's through these events, through these awesome hosts, that people are getting the connection and getting tied into some support that they needed.
So
that's
all the details are going to be at the website alz.org.
And on our Facebook page as well.
Yes. So tag us, find us, and come out. We'll make you sweat. It's good for your brain.
It is good.
Carrie, Kate, thank you both for what you do.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Nice to meet you guys. Thanks.
It's 6:18 right now. The city of Madison is considering changing the design of its flag. This comes after the symbol in the middle is offending a Native American tribe. We'll share the latest here in a couple of minutes.
And Hattie's watching the radar very closely this morning as we've seen some storms already come through. You can see the raindrops there on the WISC Skycam. She will update the forecast next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. It is cooler today, but we still have the rain in the forecast. Take a look at the radar map early this morning. We still have numerous showers moving through southern Wisconsin from west to east. No lightning strikes on the map this morning, which is good news, but there may be some brief, heavy downpours of rain. Temperatures are significantly cooler than they were this time yesterday, about 15 to 20 degrees cooler. 63 here in Madison, 62 in Watertown, 65 in Platteville, and 66 in Prairie du Chien. Here's a look at our temperatures over the next 12 hours. You'll need to keep that umbrella close by today, but it's going to feel more comfortable with highs only near 70 degrees. Have a wonderful day.
Hattie, thank you so much. The city flag would look different. Pretty different under a proposal in front of Madison's executive committee later today. Some Native Americans in the community have voiced their concern with the symbol that's currently in the center of that flag. That sun symbol is considered to be the most sacred symbol for the Zia Pueblo tribe, based mainly in New Mexico. The Madison flag was designed back in the 60s, and sponsors of this current ordinance want the sun symbol to be replaced with a gold circle with black extensions, which would resemble the state capitol.
It is likely not the greatest day for a game of pickup basketball or tennis match, but looking ahead, City of Madison is hoping to resurface a number of those courts. Common Council is going to vote tonight on a $100,000 contract to resurface the tennis and basketball courts at city parks around the city. If approved, construction would start next month, be completed by the beginning of September. Some of those courts would be closed while the repaving is going on. The Common Council is also looking to hire a Madison-based landscaper to provide $300,000 worth of upgrades to playgrounds around the city as well. 6:23 right now. There is a chance tonight to take a major step toward fixing a popular intersection in Madison known as a hairball because of how tangled the traffic can get there.
We will share the details of that. And throughout Wisconsin this morning, we are hearing reports of major flooding. We'll have the latest at the day's top stories next on News 3 this morning. What was once a rescue effort is now a recovery after a teen disappeared underwater in Portage.
It could soon cost more to register your car and park your car in the city of Madison. We'll update you on both proposals being talked about at the Common Council tonight.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. 6:27 right now, 63 degrees on this Tuesday, June 19th.
Hattie has not gone very far from the umbrella this morning, and for good reason. These showers and storms will keep popping up throughout the day. Hads, how's it looking?
Well, it looks like the umbrella will be your accessory today because scattered showers are in the forecast all day today. Let's take a look this morning outside the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. Still some raindrops on the camera lens, but they may be getting a brief break in the rain right now. Take a look at the satellite and radar map combined. Many scattered showers across southern Wisconsin. No lightning strikes or thunder right now, so that is good news. Things have weakened a little bit from the activity overnight, but these showers will continue on and off today. 63 here in Madison, 66 in Boscobel, and 61 in the Dells. It is noticeably cooler outside this morning. Still feeling a little bit muggy with the rain in the area, but dew points have fallen as well. Our day planner temperatures take us up to a high of 70 degrees. Hard to believe after 90s or close to it for the last several days. We'll top just at 70 today with on and off rain throughout the day. Now let's get a look at your first alert traffic update this morning. Keep in mind the roads are wet, likely in the Madison area. We don't have any delays though showing up on the maps right now. No accidents to report around the region. So if you're headed into Madison, you're still going at posted speeds. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Columbia County authorities will continue their recovery efforts today after a teenager disappeared in a Portage Lake Sunday night. Dive teams from Columbia and Sauk counties searched Silver Lake for most of yesterday for the 13-year-old's body. The DNR also helped with a specialized underwater drone since the dark, murky water was filled with weeds and made that search pretty difficult. Investigators say there were lifeguards on duty when that teen was in the lake, but he was on an inner tube outside the marked swimming area. All access to the lake is temporarily closed. That includes the beach, boat landing, and public parking lots around there. We will be sure to update you on this search over at channel3000.com.
La Crosse police are investigating possible murder after a woman was found dead in an area lake. 35-year-old Erin Bushek had been missing for nearly 2 weeks when a fisherman found her body over the weekend. La Crosse detectives say the medical examiner is doing an autopsy to determine her actual cause of death. They would not say if anybody is in custody or if they have identified any suspects in connection with this death.
It is almost 6:30 now on this Tuesday morning, and there's a new vehicle registration fee that Madison alders will start considering tonight.
That new wheel tax could pay for the $2 million more in gas that the city is expected to pay next year. Josh Spreiter joins us live to break down how much this could cost you. Good morning.
Good morning. Current projections for the city in 2019 show a budget gap approaching $5 million. So the city's looking into ways to close that gap. One of the potential options is this new vehicle registration fee. Right now, Mayor Paul Soglin is considering a $17 vehicle registration fee. The mayor says that would raise an estimated $3.3 million every year, paying for city roads only. It would free up other money in the generic budget. When combined with the state and county registration fees, vehicle owners in the city of Madison would pay $120 annually, $75 of that going towards the state and $28 going towards the county. That could get expensive in a hurry for families with more than one car. And that's before any additional fees people driving hybrid or electric cars are also paying. The state budget calls for an additional $75 fee for hybrids and $100 fee for electrics. That means they'd either pay $195 or $220 per vehicle. Now, the mayor doesn't know if he fully supports this idea yet. Again, this is just the start, but he hopes to get that discussion rolling ahead of next year. Guys.
All right, Josh Spreiter reporting live from the City County building. Josh, thank you. And that's not the only additional fee Madison drivers might be paying in the future. The Common Council is expected to vote tonight on a proposal that would raise the fees for residential parking permits by 50%. Those permits allow drivers to park on the street longer than the posted time limits. The city's looking at increasing the price of those permits from $28 to $42 to help pay for the enforcement of that program. It would be the first rate hike in 2 years, and the changes, if approved, would go into effect on September 1st.
City leaders will also look at a plan tonight to untangle what has been called a hairball intersection downtown. We're talking about the area where John Nolan Drive connects with Willie, South Blair, and East Wilson Streets. Two-year study suggested changes like creating new green space and turn lanes and signals specifically for bicyclists and pedestrians, but some people who live around that area say the proposal doesn't do enough to protect those riders and walkers. Now, even if the Common Council moves forward with the suggestions tonight, could still take another year before that plan is finalized, and then, only then, can the city start taking construction bids to actually make changes at that intersection.
It is like impossible to turn left off of John Nolan onto like heading toward the Capitol.
Yeah.
I hate that intersection.
Not good.
Yeah, not good at all. 6:32 right now. If you are close to retirement, you do not probably want to look at Wall Street today. Markets are down in pre-trading more than 300 points. We'll share why in the morning sprint.
There is good news to share, though, out of Janesville this morning as efforts to redevelop the former General Motors plant are getting some help. The news is back in the morning on News 3 this morning. So if you're feeling a little bit blah today, the My Morning picture that I selected this morning is from Chris, who emailed it to us, of a beautiful, kind of even, maybe a double rainbow? I'm trying to see what there's. Anyway, it's gorgeous, whatever it is, and hopefully it provides you with a little bit of color on a day that otherwise will not.
A lot of color right there. That is, I don't even know what that is, how you captured it, Chris, but keep them coming. And what does your morning look like? Keep those pictures coming as well. Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so we can share our favorite every morning here on the show. Your time right now, 6:36, and the city of Janesville will announce later this morning it's getting extra money to help redevelop the former General Motors plant. The Janesville Gazette reports this morning that while the specifics of the grant it's getting are unknown, the city council did move forward earlier this spring to apply for $500,000 in help from state economic officials. That money would then be passed along to Commercial Development, which is the company redeveloping the property. Commercial Development started cleaning up the site 2 months ago and has estimated it could take more than $10 million and up to a year and a half to finish.
City of Milwaukee wants to host the 2020 Democratic National Convention. City leaders formally submitted a bid yesterday to the national party that would hold the event in the new Milwaukee Bucks Stadium downtown. Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett says Milwaukee is the perfect city to host this event because it's affordable, easily accessible, and that winning Wisconsin would be vital to the Democrats' plans to retake the White House. Other cities trying to get the convention include Atlanta, Denver, Houston, New York City, San Francisco, Birmingham, Alabama, and Miami Beach, Florida.
Wow.
I didn't expect Birmingham, Alabama.
No. And Miami Beach would have a little more sunshine, I would imagine, and warmth, but
a lot of partying.
We'll see. 6:37 right now. So sunshine really not existing today in the forecast. There is a chance you're waking up to some rain, though, this morning. Hey, though, the temperatures going to be about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than they've been over the last few days. That is great news. Hattie is watching the radar, and we'll share her first alert forecast in a couple minutes.
First, though, it is June 19th. We want to say happy birthday to James. How you doing, buddy? All the kids out there turning 3 today. Thanks so much for watching News 3 this morning. We're taking a live look outside right now from a very wet WISC-TV Skycam on the west side of Madison. We are expecting rain on and off all day today. Some of it could be heavy. Hattie's first alert forecast is coming up in a couple of minutes. So as we mentioned, there is more rain expected today in the state line area as well. Just a little further south, the city of Rockford has had so much flooding. A hospital there is partially shut down and lots of streets there look like rivers this morning. Yeah, Leah Lynchide's keeping an eye on the video coming in from that city and all over Wisconsin as well. She's in the news center this morning with the latest. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. Lots of pictures and video all over social media this morning, all over the Midwest as well. But let's start in Rockford. This is a pretty dramatic recovery effort.
Dad, be careful!
That right there is Brianna Pickett. She posted that on Facebook of her dad and several other people in Rockford trying to free a man trapped inside his car. Minutes later, you can see the driver get out there in the green shirt, and then the front end of the car sinks into the water. Really dramatic recovery effort there. And some more pretty crazy video out of Rockford. Check out the flooding across roads and parking lots in that city. Pretty hard to drive through, as you might imagine. The rain also has parts of Mercy Health Hospital. They're closed. The hospital says on its Facebook page, though, that no patients had to be evacuated. And take a look at this video. This is from up north, just into our newsroom. Those are highways in northern Wisconsin and the UP, where there are states of emergency for counties in both states this morning. 4 total here in Wisconsin. This as a dam in Douglas County is overflowing still this morning. We showed you that video earlier. So far, 1 death is reported from the flooding, a 75-year-old man in Ashland County.
Up to do for sure. All right, Leah Lynchide, thank you so much. So you may be wondering why this is all going down, or should we say coming down?
Meteorologist Chris Reese joins us now to break down the numbers and explain why these storms are maybe dumping so much water on certain areas.
That's right. Now, we've seen a lot of rain, especially this past weekend. Here at the station alone, our rain gauge, we've had around 4 inches of rain for the weekend. And then you get upstate, you've seen a whole lot more. So a lot of folks have dealt with heavy rain. In fact, some places seeing over 6 inches of rain. Let's go ahead and show you the past 48 hours. This does not include the entire weekend, just the past 48 hours. These are all radar estimated. You've seen nearly 2 inches of rain here, up to 6 inches of rain to the north. You get to the North Woods, and there's been a whole lot more in the way of rainfall. But check this out. Remember the ring of fire that I described a couple of weeks ago? It's actually a very similar setup. Here we have this big dome of high pressure across the southeastern part of the country that's drawing in intense amounts of tropical moisture, and as that moves in, you have hot and humid air to the south of the stationary front, colder air to the north. That leads to rising air, and that's why we've had a lot of the low pressure systems and the showers and thunderstorms across the North Woods these past couple of days. That's led to all the flooding, and the intense humidity has led to the very heavy rains.
We need somebody to write a Ring of Rain song instead of Johnny Cash.
There you go.
All right, thank you, Chris. Speaking of what's going to happen next, let's turn it over to Hattie McLean for our forecast today. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we do have more rain in the forecast, and we're seeing that on the radar map right now. Scattered showers once again getting ready to move into Madison. These storms, or showers I should say, no storms right now, are relatively quick movers. So we're not going to see a huge amount of rain this morning, but they could produce brief heavy downpours of rain. And the activity lines back all the way into the Central Plains and towards the Rockies this morning. Now that stationary front that Chris was talking about is going to sink a little bit further to the south over the next couple of days. So it's taking the risk for severe weather south of the state line today. This is a marginal risk across parts of central Illinois. But as that stationary front slowly sinks to the south, slow would be the key word. So we still keep rain chances in the forecast on and off today with that front right along the state line. But over the next couple of days, Tuesday night into Wednesday, it sinks a little bit further into Illinois, so our rain chances begin to diminish. We should string together a couple of dry days, most of Wednesday and Thursday, before rain chances return by the end of the week. Now, here's a look at our temperatures. South of that front, it's still quite soupy. We have 79 in St. Louis, 73 in Des Moines, 63 by contrast here in Madison. Wausau is at 59 degrees this morning. So much more comfortable as you walk out the door this morning. Temperatures are in the 60s across our viewing area, even some 50s, 59 in Waukesha this morning. Dew points are falling as well. Dew points are back into the upper 50s and low to mid 60s. Highest dew points are right along the Mississippi River Valley, with dew points still at 65. Dew point trend, though, through the day is going to stay much lower than it was yesterday, only in the mid 60s this afternoon. Here's a look at future track. Again, keep that umbrella close by today. Cannot rule out on and off showers through the area, maybe some isolated thunderstorms as well. High temperatures, though, will only be near 70 degrees, so significantly cooler than it was yesterday. Even overnight tonight, a few showers possible into early Wednesday, but all the rain will move out of the area by midday on Wednesday. Rain totals, again, additional accumulation on top of what has already fallen, maybe a couple of tenths of an inch to almost a half an inch for parts of south central and southwestern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your extended forecast. It is going to stay much more comfortable around here. Temperatures will top in the 70s through the rest of the week, mid 70s in fact. Humidity should continue to drop as well. Again, rain chances return late Thursday into Friday and possibly even Saturday morning. Here's our pet walk forecast for today. What a cutie. Piper in Wanakee.
Fluffy.
I don't know if Piper likes getting wet, but it might be a little soggy for that walk this afternoon.
Instant bath for Piper.
Even tinier will Piper be after getting wet.
True.
All right, thanks, Eds.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprint's coming up next on News 3 This Morning.
Turn on.
.50 right now, time for the morning sprint. Hattie's tracking the radar, watching for more rain and storms today. And as we wait on more rain, Leah Linscheid is updating us on flooding throughout the state.
Josh Spreiter's live downtown, where city leaders tonight are going to talk about increasing Madison's vehicle registration fee. But we start in Washington, where the president is set to talk about the economy and immigration to small business owners today at a national conference in Washington. The speech comes a day after members of his administration strongly defended its zero-tolerance policy as it relates to crossing the border. It, in essence, separates children from their parents at the border if they're all trying to get into the country illegally. Gail King is live at the border in Texas with an update just after 7 o'clock.
About 24 Wisconsin National Guard members are preparing to head to the border. Arizona's governor asked other states for that help, and Governor Walker could assign even more troops to go there later this summer. The last time Wisconsin Guard members worked on border security was back in 2006 under an order from President George H.W. Bush. Democratic state lawmakers and Wisconsin Congress members are calling on the governor to keep those troops here, but as of right now, the National Guard is continuing with the deployment.
Pre-market trading on Wall Street's down 361 points right now. Could be a bumpy ride for investors on Wall Street today. This comes amid fears of a trade war between the United States and China. They are increasing those fears. Chinese markets are down roughly 6% today as President Trump prepares new tariffs on $200 billion in Chinese imports. China, meanwhile, plans its own tariff increase on American imports to retaliate against the first round of increases announced by the president last week.
The Supreme Court will not order Wisconsin lawmakers to redraw their legislative district maps before this fall's election. The case before the Supreme Court is called Whitford versus Gill. It dates back to 2011 when a UW-Madison law professor argued the legislative district map drawn by Wisconsin's Republican majority gave its party an unconstitutional and unfair advantage. Governor Walker says the U.S. Supreme Court's decision allows state lawmakers to move forward on other important issues. Democrats argue it's not a final decision, but rather an opportunity for the lower courts to gather more information.
There's some sad news to pass along out of Columbia County this morning, where dive teams believe a teenager is dead after he went underwater at a lake near Portage Sunday night. Divers searched Silver Lake much of the day yesterday. They'll be back out there again today. Access to the lake right now is closed, including the beach, the boat landing, the public parking lots. We will have updates on that search all day long over at channel3000.com.
The 19-year-old accused in a fatal crash on Madison's west side is scheduled to be back in court for a preliminary hearing this morning. Benjamin Cortez faces 7 felonies, including homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle, after police say he crashed into a couple walking their dog on Midvale Boulevard. 72-year-old Greg Namitz was killed in that crash. His wife, Patty Namitz, was critically injured.
Right now, Madison Mayor Paul Soglin is expected to introduce a $17 per vehicle registration tax at tonight's city council meeting. That would be on top of the $120 most vehicle owners in the city of Madison pay every year. 75 of that going to the state and 28 of that going to the county. It could get expensive in a hurry for families with more than one car. The $17 is also before any additional fees. People driving hybrid or electric cars are also paying. So why now? Current projections for the city in 2019 show a budget gap approaching $5 million. The mayor says the new tax would raise an estimated $3.3 million every year, and that money would be designated in paying for city roads only.
We are tracking pictures and video this morning of the flooding happening all over the Midwest. This is Rockford right now. More rain expected today will continue to flood streets in that city. A hospital there is even partially closed because of the flooding. And up north, 4 Wisconsin counties, along with the UP, are under a state of emergency. Take a look at the highways completely submerged. There is 1 death reported right now, and a dam in Douglas County is still overflowing. Good news for those folks, though. Hattie says northern Wisconsin will dry out today. No rain forecasted for some of those worst-hit areas.
That's right. The rain focus is here across central and southern Wisconsin through the day today, and we're already seeing some of that rain on the radar map. Generally light to moderate scattered showers moving from west to east. You may hear some isolated rumbles of thunder today. The rain extends all the way back through Iowa, though, this morning, so scattered showers are in the forecast through the day. With clouds and rain in the area, it is going to definitely be cooler. We're looking at highs right around 70 degrees this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie. The Common Council in Madison is expected to vote tonight on a proposal to raise the fees for residential parking permits by 50%. Those permits allow drivers to park on the street longer than the posted time limits. The city is looking at increasing the price of those permits from $28 to $42 to help pay for the enforcement of the program. The changes would go into effect on September 1st.
Madison's Common Council is set to approve paying for an attorney to represent the city in a lawsuit. That suit was filed by Chicago-based Beitler Real Estate. That developer was hired to build part of the Judge Doyle Square project. It claims the city didn't tell the company about an additional $11 million investment before the decision was made to do so. Alders will vote tonight on whether to spend $50,000 on hiring an outside lawyer. That money would come, though, from the existing Judge Doyle Square budget.
Madison city flag would look different under a proposal in front of the council's executive committee later today. Some Native Americans in the community have voiced their concern with the sun symbol on the flag that's in the middle of the flag. That symbol is considered to be the most sacred one for the Zia Pueblo tribe, which is based mainly in New Mexico. Sponsors of an ordinance to change Madison's flag for the first time in 50 years want that sun symbol replaced with a gold circle with black extensions to closely resemble the state capitol.
The Common Council is also considering demolishing several homes off East Washington Avenue. We're talking about East Johnson here to make room for a mixed-use 4-story apartment complex. Neighbors living along that stretch of East Johnson Street say that the large building would disrupt the character of the area. This building would exceed the 3-story limit established in the Tenny Lapham neighborhood plan.
It is 6:56 right now. There's a lot of rain out there, wet roads as well. Let's get a final check on traffic with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. Well, it's continuing to pick up on the westbound Beltline as it tends to do this time of the day. Some brake lights popping up now between Stoughton Road and West Broadway, but only slowing you down an extra minute or two at this point. Inbound John Olin getting busier with a few slowdowns between Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive, but nothing that'll delay you more than a minute or two. And other main routes, including on the interstate, still cruising along at the usual speeds right now. No major issues showing up here in the Madison area. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks so much, Josh.
Thank you.
And here's a look at the Edgewater Skycam. Downtown Madison, pretty cloudy and buggy this morning on that camera. Light rain to moderate rain will continue on and off through the day today. May even hear some rumbles of thunder. High temperatures, though, will be at 70 degrees. Yesterday's high was in the upper 80s, so significantly cooler than it was yesterday.
Certainly what we like to hear, but if you want to keep up with the radar yourself, which I know a lot of people out there like to do, be sure to download that Channel 3000 First Alert Weather and Traffic app. This rain could certainly make for an interesting commute as well. Have a good one. Stay dry. We'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.